Hello guys, welcome back to TFD. We're coming back with another video, and today it's all about something that's been buzzing behind the scenes. From the outside looking in, it seems like Caitlin Clark is just tired of this motion offense. And honestly, after what I'm about to break down, I don't blame her. For this one, we've got to go all the way up to Indy. Let's get it. Let's go. Now, full disclosure before we jump in, I was instructed to make this video. I'm not going to reveal who sent me on this mission, but it's funny. And when I say funny, I mean it's really something. That said, all the information I'm about to share is alleged. Yeah, we got to put a little alleged disclaimer on it for technical reasons. So let's set the stage. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever had a decent year last season. I mean, the team itself made it all the way to the semifinals. Damn near pulled off a WNBA Finals appearance. That's no small feat. But Caitlin herself, not so great. She got hurt, plain and simple. And we didn't see the Caitlin Clark we all fell in love with during her Iowa days. Now going into the season, one of the biggest storylines was how Stephanie White was going to run this offense. And let me tell you, I had catalogs of videos breaking this down even before the season kicked off. I was telling y'all months ago, February, March, April. I said it straight. This offense, it's a disaster waiting to happen for Caitlin Clark. Maybe it'll work for the Fever as a team, but for Caitlin's style of play, nah, not gonna happen. I was adamant about it. Fast forward to now, and we've seen exactly how things went. Caitlin Clark suffered injuries, and we didn't get the explosive, dynamic player we expected. This confirms what I've been saying all along. Stephanie White doesn't know how to coach Caitlin Clark. Quiet as it's kept, I know some people might get mad at this, but I genuinely believe we should have kept Christie Sides. Think about it. The second half of the season, under Christie Sides, the Fever went on a run. Why? Because Christie understood Caitlin Clark. She understood her game, her style, what makes her tick. That's why they got results. Had Christie Sides still in charge this year, I honestly believe the Fever wouldn't have faced as many injuries. And I'm going to say something that might ruffle some feathers, but it's the truth. A lot of these injuries, they were contributed to the style of offense Stephanie White was running. Think about it. She's calling long, aggressive defensive schemes on players who are not defensive specialists. Kelsey Mitchell, for example, is primarily an offensive player. She stepped up on defense, sure, but her body shut down because of it. These are not coincidences. These are the direct consequences of a system that doesn't match the player's strengths. I don't care what anyone says. I'm always going to speak my mind and tell it like it is. Stephanie White's offense and defensive schemes caused breakdowns. They caused injuries. And that's not shade, that's observation. That's what the numbers and the games have shown us. So when you hear people say, Caitlin just got unlucky with injuries, I have to respectfully disagree. A lot of this was preventable. A lot of this was avoidable. If the offense matched Caitlin's style, her speed, her decision-making, her scoring ability, we'd be seeing a different season. A season where she dominates like she did in Iowa. A season where the Fever, as a team, isn't just surviving, they're thriving. Bottom line, guys, this is bigger than just one player. This is about systems, coaching, and understanding what your star player needs to succeed. And right now, looking at the big picture, it seems clear that something's off. Caitlin Clark deserves better. The fans deserve better. And the Indiana Fever, well, they've got a lot of work to do if they want to fix this mess.
Let's head over to X real quick. I want to show y'all something. So here's the clip I'm talking about. Right now, what you're about to see shows Caitlin Clark clearly frustrated, pretty much agitated with Stephanie White. And if you remember this game, it was one of the last times, if not the last time, that Caitlin Clark played against the Atlanta Dream. Now, here's the thing. In the second half of this game, Caitlin came out on fire. You can look it up. She absolutely went off. But the tension between her and Stephanie White, that's what really tells the story. There's actually a video, one that hasn't been released publicly, showing what went down in the tunnel right after the game. I've synced that video before, but I've never talked about it until today. Do I even want to describe how bad this video looks for Caitlin? Honestly, it looks bad. She's snapping at Stephanie White in the tunnel, clearly frustrated and upset, and it's intense. I really hope this video doesn't ever go public because, man, it's that explosive. But yes, I've seen it, and yes, it exists. That part is not alleged, that's a cold hard fact. The video captures Caitlin erupting on Stephanie White so strongly, it would have made national news if it leaked. Now, before I show you the clip, let me break down what this really means. To me, this is Caitlin Clark saying loud and clear that she's sick of the offense, sick of the motion offense, sick of the system. You can literally see it in the clip. Her body language, the way she throws her hands up, the way she's confronting Stephanie. This isn't just a little frustration. It's full on, I'm done with this energy. Let's play the clip now. Watch closely. See that? That right there is Caitlin Clark at her breaking point. Throwing her hands up, visibly upset, confronting the coach she's been working with all season. That moment tells me everything we need to know. She's not just tired, she's fed up. And let me emphasize again, the video I'm talking about, the one in the tunnel, is real. Not alleged. Those are facts. Caitlin Clark erupted on Stephanie White in that tunnel so intensely, it could have dominated headlines. I've had the footage synced for months, but I never spoke on it because it's explosive. Now the public deserves to know what's really going on behind the scenes. What's most interesting about this is what it says about Caitlin's mindset. She's clearly frustrated with how things are being run offensively. She's showing she's willing to push back, to stand up, to voice her dissatisfaction. And honestly, I can't blame her. If you've watched her play in Iowa, you know she thrives in a system tailored to her strengths. When you put her in a system that doesn't suit her, well, this is what happens. So to sum it up, that Atlanta Dream Game clip is more than just a heated moment. It's a clear indicator that Caitlin Clark is ready for something different, something better. She's not holding back, and the world can see it, even if only through a small glimpse like this clip. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Caitlin Clark deserves an offense that fits her, coaching that understands her, and a team built around her strengths. The Atlanta Dream Game, and especially that tunnel moment, just prove it. Those are the facts. Cold, hard facts. All right, guys, that's the breakdown for today. Keep your eyes open because we're only scratching the surface of what's really going on behind the scenes with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Things are about to get interesting.
Now, when we look ahead to 2026 season, let's be real. This is a rebuild season. This is a season to correct the errors, correct the flaws, and get this thing back on track. And one of those big flaws? The motion offense. Now, don't get me wrong, that motion offense worked for Stephanie White for a little while. It looked pretty on paper, it looked clean when things clicked. But the truth is, that offense can't win a championship. Point blank. That's why Stephanie White hasn't won one yet running it. She didn't get far in Connecticut with it, and she hasn't gotten far here in Indiana either. Granted, she made it to the semifinals, and that's cool and all, but she never made it to the finals. That tells you everything you need to know. So now, it's time to go back. We gotta rewind and bring back that read and react style. We gotta go back to giving Caitlin Clark the ball and letting her cook. Because that's what wins games. That's what brings in fans. That's what makes the Indiana Fever special. We want to see Iowa Caitlin again. Iowa Caitlin, bro, you know what I mean. Logo 3 Caitlin. Step back, pulling up from the parking lot Caitlin. That's the version that puts fear in defenses and makes people stop what they're doing to watch. We want that Caitlin back, not this watered-down version trapped in a motion offense experiment. And speaking of experiments, let's talk about Stephanie White for a second. Because man, Stephanie been doing this for a while now. If you remember last year, she was all over the place with interviews. Every week there was some new sit-down, some new quote. She was talking to every outlet under the sun, trying to push her message. But fast forward to now, The off-season just wrapped up, and what do we see? Stephanie White's got another interview coming up. Now, I wonder how this one's gonna go. Because this time, things are different. Stephanie White isn't talking to everybody anymore. At least, it's not looking that way. This is now the second interview Stephanie White's done this offseason, and both have been with Indiana reporters. Not national ones, only local Indiana media. Why is that? Why is she keeping her circle small now? I'll tell you why. Because Stephanie White is avoiding questions. She's not trying to get in the ring of fire. She doesn't want to sit across from someone who's going to ask the tough stuff about Caitlin, about the offense, about the breakdowns. She wants control. And when you want control, you go where the questions are soft. That's just what it is. So let me show you all this right here. Upcoming pod alert. Fever Insider Live, Indiana coach Stephanie White episode, Wednesday. Yeah, you heard me right. Another homegrown, controlled interview. Now, y'all know who runs these things. Chloe Peterson, Scott Agnes, Brian, all of them. These are the same folks that are tied into the Indiana Fever front office. And look, nothing against them personally, but they're not independent voices. They can't say what they really want to say. They can't ask what we want to know. They're operating under the team's umbrella. That's why those podcasts don't do the numbers that us independent podcasters do, because they can't tell the truth like we can. They can't give the fans the real insight. They're stuck protecting the team narrative. So when you see Stephanie White's name pop up on those local interviews, just know, it's not random. It's calculated. It's strategic. She's not out there taking on national media because she doesn't want to get cornered about Caitlin Clark. She doesn't want to answer questions about why the motion offense hasn't worked, or why Caitlin looks frustrated every other game, or why the team's chemistry keeps breaking down. And honestly, I can't say I'm surprised. This is what happens when the team tries to control the message instead of facing reality. The fans see what's going on. We've been watching every game. We've seen the system flaws. And at this point, all we want is a coach who's willing to adapt. So yeah, 2026, it's a rebuild season. But more than that, it's a reckoning season. Because this is the year we find out whether the Fever are serious about building around Caitlin Clark, or if they're just going to keep recycling the same failed system.
The books, Aaliyah, has she been giving you some recommendations on these, or how are you approaching it?
Who's been giving me recommendations? Aaliyah? No, she hasn't. But I actually went on vacation right after the season. My kids were on fall break, and I was in a little beach town. And I walked into the bookstore, and I said, okay, these are the 3 authors that I like. These are the types of books that I like. And the young woman gave me a series, so I started the Handmaid's Secret. I started the series of The Handmaid's Tale. Or not The Handmaid's Tale, that's the movie, but I started this series. So I'm 2 books in, and I have 2 more to go. I'm excited. I know. I haven't read for fun in a long time.
Are your kids pretty prolific readers? Are they at that age yet where they're hammering through books all the time?
I have one that loves to read, and I have the others don't really take. No, I didn't love to read until I was a pro. I actually I did not like to read at all. And when I was playing for the Fever, and Natalie Williams was my roommate, and she read all the time. And she was reading, I don't remember what she was reading. Maybe the Harry Potter series had just come out or something. And she was reading it. And so she was my roommate. And it was like, all right, well, if we're not going to go get dinner, let's read a book. And so I started reading, and I really found that I enjoyed it. And it was nice, a nice way for me to decompress and to go to other worlds, right? And to not have to think about what was going on in the moment. It's my own version of escapism. I have to dive myself into a book, and I'm not an audiobook person. I like to imagine what the voices sound like in my head. I don't like hearing the same voice in an audiobook, so it's going to have to be multiple if I'm going to do that. But I much prefer to have a book in my hand and read. And Lynn Dunn always read as well, so she would read a book and then pass it on, and it would kind of go through our team and coaching staff.
I love that. Chloe, we found another new segment for our show. We're going to have a book club with like
book Steph club. Right? Let's do it. Yeah.
All right, so that was just a little snippet that's been released so far. The full interview is scheduled to drop in about 2 days. And trust me, you're going to want to see it. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on Caitlin Clark and this motion offense situation? Do you want to see IO Caitlin? The logo 3s, step back, pull up Caitlin we all know and love? Drop it down in the comments right now because personally, I'm all in. I definitely want to see Iowa Caitlin Bra. Make sure those bells are on too because I'll be back with another one soon. You know how we do, keeping it 16K with all the updates, the analysis, and the behind the scenes stuff. And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned. This channel is where you get the real takes, no BS.